Hello friends, and welcome back to Swiftlessons for another rhythm guitar tutorial. In today's session, let's talk about one of the most important skills a rhythm player can have in their arsenal, and that is the ability to quickly transpose chord progressions across all 12 keys. So in today's lesson, I'm going to share with you 3 must-know chord progressions and how you can play them using basic bar chord shapes, and how those chord progressions can be easily transposed using the major scale on 3 strings. Of course, I have a full PDF study guide for you to help you with your practice at patreon.com/swiftlessons. Support the channel there and gain access to a ton of extra resources for all my popular YouTube guitar lessons. Now, let's get started. Okay, let's take a close look at the fretboard and get started with section 1 of this lesson. Learning how to play a very specific version of our major scale, which we can use to create bass lines, we can use it to find the root notes of given chords, and we can also use it for transposing chord progressions. Looks and sounds like this. Okay, so that was frets. 3, 5, 7, 3, 5, 7, 4, 5. And the notes, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. Okay, so that's the scale that I picture whenever I need to play a chord progression using bar chords. If someone yells out to me, hey Rob, play a 1, 6, 4, 5 progression in the key of G, I'll picture that scale, all of its intervals, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, or 8. And if someone says 1, 6, 4, 5, all I need to do is find the 1st, 6th, 4th, and 5th notes of that scale. So 1, 6, 4, 5. Now I have a bass line. Okay, from there I can upgrade each of these root notes to full chords. The first note of the scale, the 1, G, can become G major. The 6th note of the scale, E, can become E minor, the minor 6 chord. The 4th note can become C major. And the 5th note can become D major. Alright, and that's the first progression that I want you to get down for today. A 1, 6, 4, 5 progression in the key of G, but as we'll see in just a little bit, we can move it fret to fret to be able to play this very common chord progression in every single key. Okay, so the 1 chord, G major, your bar in the 3rd fret, low E to high E, grabbing the 5th fret of the A string, 5th fret D, and the 4th fret of the G string with the middle finger. Remember our bar chord technique. The thumb nice and low so the index finger straightens, the fingers arched, elbow inside, pulling back with both arms just a little bit if you need to. Lots of pressure there for a nice clear bar chord. Okay, now the next chord, E minor. We're going to take this shape up to the 7th fret position and then drop these fingers down to the floor 1 string. That gives you the frets 7, 9, 9, 8, 7 with the bar. Alright, then the 4 chord C major, grab the 3rd fret of the A string, that's your root note. And then you're going to bar with the ring finger over the D, G, and B strings 5th fret. Every single major chord in the book right there. Alright, you can take it up a full step for the 5 chord, which is D major. Alright, so let's practice that progression nice and slow. G major. Alright, remember your steps to get into the minor 6 chord. E minor, C major, and D major. Okay, now let's learn how to transpose this progression. Let's say someone says, let's take it up a full step to the key of A. No problem, same exact process. You're going to picture the scale. You're going to find the correct intervals for the bass line. 1, 6, 4, 5. Ask yourself what notes are you playing so you know which chords are in the key. It's going to be A, it's going to be F sharp, that's going to be D, and E. Alright, apply your chord shapes. The major 1, A major. The minor 6 chord, F sharp minor. right, the 4-chord D major and the 5-chord E major. Okay, great work everybody. Now let's move on to our second chord progression of the day. Let's say someone calls out to you, all right, we're playing a 2-5-1 progression in the key of G. All right, that should be pretty easy to figure out. Same exact process, find the scale in G, pick out the second, fifth, and first notes, A, D, G. Okay, apply your chord shapes. The second note of a given major scale is almost always made into a minor chord, or it could also be a minor 7th chord for more flavor. Okay, so the basic minor shape, bar and 5th fret, E to E, thumb nice and low, I'm grabbing the 7th fret A string and 7th fret D string. All right, you already know how to play the 5 chord, D major, though if you like, you can turn it into a dominant 7 chord as well. And then back to the 1 chord, G major, which in this progression you could play for 2 measures, maybe split them up. 1 measure of G and 1 measure removing the pinky for G dominant 7. All right, you put it together and it sounds like this. The G chord, dominant 7, sneaking it in there. All right, now one quick little side tip. One thing you can do to make your progression sound a little bit more interesting and also more fun to play is to start implementing this scale. Start fitting in some little bass lines in between your chord changes coming from that source scale, G major. So you can play something like this, the A minor, D major, G major. Maybe sneak in the dominant 7, A minor, 5, 7, 3, 5, 5, 7, 3. Okay, and of course that's very transposable. If someone says to you, hey, play that exact same thing, but in the key of B flat, no problem. You find the root note, you picture the scale, you find your root notes, 2, 5, 1, you set up your chords, and maybe you even add in that bass line again. All right, if you can play that, then you're ready to move on to our third and final chord progression. This one, let's get a little bit more exotic with it. Let's say someone throws something really complex at you. They say they want a 1, dominant 3, minor 6, 4, minor 4, 1 progression. Okay, so all those numbers being thrown at you can be a little bit intimidating. Okay, but use the knowledge that you now have. Using the scale, we can figure it out very easily. So 1, dominant 3. So 1 is G major. All right, now, when someone says a dominant 3 chord, what they're asking for is the 3rd note of the scale being played as a dominant 7 chord. Now that's a borrowed shape. It's not from the scale, so it's a little bit of an oddball, but it's something that's very common, especially in R&B. You can hear it in a bunch of Ray Charles songs for sure. So 1, dominant 3. All right, then the minor 6. All right, then the 4 chords, C major. And then if someone says they want a minor 4, well, simply turn that into a minor shape. The same shape we just used for E minor, but now on the 3rd fret. All right, that's a great chord to take you home to the 1 chord. And if you want some more information on borrowed chord shapes, chords that are being taken from another scale, you can click this card right up here in the corner. Okay, so a great progression, something really, really interesting for your songwriting. The 1, the dominant 3, the minor 6, the 4, minor 4, and back to 1. applying that exact same strumming pattern. Strum, slap, strum, slap, strum, slap, strum, slap, E minor, C major, strum, slap, turn it minor, and back to the 1. Alright, and of course you can transpose that just the same way we did the other progressions. If someone says key of F, find the 1, the 3rd, the 6th, the 4, the 4 for the minor, which will have the same root note, and back to the 1. Apply your chord shapes. For a 1, dominant 3, 6, 4, minor 4 progression in the key of F, 1st fret position. Okay, excellent work today, everybody. You've learned 3 essential bar chord progressions, but you've also unlocked the superpower of being able to play whatever progression someone yells at you. So if someone says 1, 6, 4, 5, 1, 4, 5, 2, 5, 1, it doesn't matter. You're going to be able to figure out how to play that progression and also be able to transpose it from key to key. I hope this is something that makes you feel more comfortable and confident in a live jam situation, or maybe a songwriting session, a collaboration, and also something that is going to bolster your own creativity. If you need some extra guidance, you can head over to patreon.com/swiftlessons. There I have a full PDF study guide to help you along. Until next time, this is Rob coming at you from the Jersey Shore saying happy picking.